You know what, I'm going to start this video off like I've never done before, which is what I'm seeing people do on these YouTube videos, which is hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe so you can get new and amazing content, yada yada. Or just watch the video and don't do any of that. Hello everyone and welcome to From the Minds, your favorite channel for all things crystals and nonsense. Today we're going to be talking about something that I am frequently being asked. Actually was just asked about it today, and I was like, you know what, let me just make a video and do my best to give out the information that I have and that I think is relevant. It really revolves around your 10 major stones and the chakras. A little bit of background here, I spent a large portion of my life studying metaphysics. I was in and out of several organizations studying yoga, and I really did learn quite a bit about the chakras, the system around it, and how crystals kind of relate to that. I am not telling you this as factual information. It is just my attempt to give information that I'm frequently asked. This is, again, my side of the fence after applying practicality to something that sometimes is, how do I say this, lackadaisically thrown around. I'm referring to myself in that manner because I just got really tired all of a sudden. The first stone we're going to start with is black tourmaline, which is largely associated with something called the base chakra. The base chakra is not something that's mentioned frequently, but it is extremely relevant, and it starts at the base of the body and is associated with the color black. Black meaning that it is a place where things can be stored, like a black hole to some degree. Things go in and they kind of disappear. Black tourmaline is supposed to serve a similar purpose where it's an absorption stone. Typically what people want to absorb are negative frequencies, negative vibrations. We do know, scientifically speaking, that crystals do oscillate. They do have a reaction to people, to touch, to sound, and so there is something relevant there, although it has not been peer-reviewed, nor have there been clinical studies on the matter. There does seem to be a way to kind of connect the dots here, and so black tourmaline is where we start. It's not a stone that's protecting you from negativity. That's first and foremost. I don't think any of the stones are going to do any of these things that I'm really about to say. I think that they can be used as a tool to achieve a certain method, just like a hammer is not going to nail the nail in itself. You have to know exactly how to hit the nail. So it's a tool that you can use that might be beneficial to you in your spiritual practice. And since everyone's out in the world talking about it, again, haphazardly saying things, kind of misinformation, and not saying that my information is any better, I'm way over talking here, aren't I? Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just really nervous about talking about this because I feel like it's extremely speculative. Anyway, so that's going to be the base chakra, which is associated with the color black, which is supposed to be filtering energy into your energetic system, if you will. The energetic system is supposed to comprise itself of three bodies. You have your etheric field, your auric field, and your astral field. The etheric field essentially is the vitality of the body. The auric field is essentially the roadmap of who, what, when, where, why, and how, what you're currently experiencing. And then the astral field is kind of like a membrane that protects you from everything that's external. And so we have this field of energy that radiates around us, and that field is supposed to be strong enough to protect us from harmful or negative or low vibration energy. One of the problems that occurs is when we get quote-unquote holes in these fields. And the holes in the field is where negative energy can actually come in and manifest in our lives. So how do we prevent that from ourselves? Number one is trying our best to not gossip, evil eye, judgment in the direction of other people, which is virtually impossible because the world is filled with, judgmental people. But moving up from that, we have the root chakra, which is represented by the color red. Pretty much any red stone is going to fit into this category. Traditionally, red jasper is highly associated, and the root chakra has to do with the lifeblood of who we are, our ability to survive, self-efficiency, self-awareness. And typically when we see someone who's not able to really be self-reliant or take care of themselves, they depend on others for their well-being, their sustenance in life, you might say that someone is not balanced in the root chakra or something to that degree. I do disagree with that terminology. I don't think you can be unbalanced in a chakra. I think you can have a disconnection from an energy source, like being disconnected from taking care of yourself. Moving up from that, we have our sacral chakra, which is going to be associated with the color orange. Naranka. The sacral is associated with, largely with things to do with family, thus its location on the body is near the reproductive systems. Also in females it's going to be associated with the ovaries, the womb, if you will. And so really the sacral has a lot to do with family matters. One of the most traditional stones we're going to see associated with that is going to be either a like peach aventurine, carnelian is probably the fan favorite, if you will. And any other, citrine could also be associated with that, although I don't recommend. I really think, carnelian is the go-to there. If you're experiencing issues, for example, you're in conflict with family members, parents, if you're married, it could have to do with your spouse. That chakra in particular is going to be associated with anything family related, discord within any kind of blood relationships. One of the things that I typically recommend there is really like taking a good evaluation of where you are with each family member, seeing where you're in conflict with a family member. And while you're not going to correct anybody else's behavior, you can still correct your attitude and your consciousness around a person. Moving on from that, we're going to talk about the solar plexus. The solar plexus is associated with the color yellow. Tiger's eye is kind of your go-to there. Yellow hematoid quartz is a good go-to, pyrite. But the solar plexus has a lot to do with our social interactions. It has to do with where we stand socially. Are we engaging our environment well? Are we able to go out into the world and connect to people? Essentially, what are we doing socially speaking? And if you're a person who is trying to avoid people, you're avoiding social situations, this might be an indication that you have some discord there. Also, like let's just say you are out in a public place and you are uncomfortable in public settings, and so you become the person sitting in the corner by yourself waiting for it to be over. Guilty. No, I'm not. Moving up from there, we have the heart chakra, which is your traditional green color. There's so many stones that we could apply to this. Green aventurine is typically the standard. Stones like malachite could be really good. Green calcite. Calcites come in all colors pretty much. Quartzes will also have all kinds of colors, so you can always use quartz as a go-to there. Jaspers will have all types of colors. Really specifically, chrysoprase, green chalcedony, any stone that's green. This idea of the heart chakra is something that's really important. It's where your compassion starts. It's where your flexibility starts. It's where patience happens. Really being able to care about things outside of yourself is ideally the heart chakra. Connecting to the world around you and having empathy, being able to sympathize. People who are unable to do that might have discord in that chakra. They may have a disconnection. Like, let's just say, God forbid, you're an alcoholic. You don't mean to abuse your liver, but you are abusing your liver because you are addicted to alcohol. It's a very similar concept. How we interact with energy bodies is very similar in our physical addictions. So you could be in a situation where empathy is expected or required and you're just not able to get there. This could mean you have discord. The real goal is getting to a place where you genuinely care about the people around you for no good reason. That moves us to the upper heart, which is typically represented by the color pink. That's why you typically will see watermelon tourmaline being like a great heart stone, because it has the green on the outside, the pink on the inside. Rose quartz is going to be your go-to. That's why people always say rose quartz is the stone for love. And the upper heart takes you from that place of I care to I'm going to do something about it now. So you move yourself from this place of caring about something and saying you care about something to now actually taking action and doing something. So if you're in a place where you have the compassion but you just can't get over the hump of putting yourself in position to take some sort of responsibility, you might have discord. Up from there, you're going to have the throat chakra, which is going to be represented by blue. If you want to go safe bet, lapis lazuli is the traditional stone for that. Sodalite is a traditional stone for that. Blue quartz is cool. The throat chakra traditionally is going to be expressed as communicating, speaking your truth. Throat chakra is not just about your voice out, it's also about how you receive the voice of others. It's about listening. We want to create this unison between communication, incoming and outgoing, incoming and outbound. Inbound and outbound communication, unity, circle, together, listening. There's a difference between hearing something and listening to something. It's really important. A lot of the times you can hear what somebody's saying, but you might not be listening. And listening is something that happens with the heart. And if you're not right in the heart, you can't really listen. Moving up from there, we're going to talk about the third eye, the pineal gland chakra, which is represented by the color indigo. Typically, we're seeing stones like blue aventurine or the go-to iolite. Iolite essentially is the stone you want for the third eye. It's a little bit harder to get because a lot of the times people get confused between blue aventurine and iolite. Also, sometimes there's inclusions in iolite or not inclusions in iolite. So it's one of those things where you just make sure you get your hands on a person who knows that they have iolite for sure. What the third eye is really doing is this vibration, this connection, this chakra is really your bird's eye view. It's the big picture. Seeing not just what's in front of you, but what's going on all around you, even being able to see into the future to some degree. So that's where the idea of psyche comes in, intuition, clairvoyance comes in this third eye, because people are unfortunately associating it with psychic abilities like reading the future or telling fortunes. That's not my interpretation. It's about being able to see cause and effect. It's about being able to see the different choices that you currently have and what the effect of those choices will be on your future and on the future of those around you. And then moving up, we have the crown chakra, which is going to be associated with the color purple or violet. A lot of the times we're seeing amethyst being the go-to here. That's why a lot of people call amethyst the sobriety stone, or why it's known as the sobriety stone. A lot of people say that it's a peace of mind and helps you think. I guess I can agree with that, but that's not really the purpose of the crown. The crown is really your ability to lead. It's taking all of those vibrations that you've cultivated and having a well-rounded, established, energetic connection to yourself and to all of the different vibrations inside of yourselves, and using that to actually become a good leader. And you know, it's funny because one of the things I like to talk about all the time is we hear the word rule. Like in the Bible, God creates man to rule over, or a king should rule over. And I think that our definition and our understanding of the word rule is a little skewed. Ruling over something does not mean dominating it. It does not mean controlling it. It does not mean taking from it. It means that you're there to be responsible for it and to do your best and provide effort that is best for everything that you are quote unquote ruling. Even as a leader, let's just say that you own your own business or you own your own company. While you rule over the company, you are not there to be a dictator. You are not there to manipulate people. You are there to put the pieces together and make sure that they run properly. The idea of the crown chakra is that of like real leadership, which can't really be achieved without pulling together and healthily functioning in all the other energetic vibrations. You know, you can't lead if you are, you know, not able to feed yourself, or that you're in discord with all of your family. You're not able to make social connections. You have a lack of compassion and a lack of acting on that compassion. You don't have good communication. You don't have good insight. You're not seeing cause and effect. You're not going to be a good leader. And that's why the crown chakra is kind of located at the top. Above that, there's one more, which is represented typically by the color gold, although that's not my traditional understanding. My traditional understanding of the nimbus, which is located above the crown chakra, where now at the base we have energy coming in, at the nimbus we have energy going out. And we're creating this circle, masculine and feminine, positive and negative polarity. And the nimbus is dictating and taking whatever's coming in, running through our whole energetic system, and pumping it out properly. And that's why you might say someone is strong in one chakra, less strong in another. And the thing is, you don't need to be functioning well in your root chakra in order to have a good solar plexus. You know, you could be completely helpless human being, but everyone loves you. You could be the belle of the ball. So again, it's one of those things where people might not understand that you can do well in one chakra or another, but you can never create a complete system without one or the other. And the easiest way to do it is to move from root upward. So we really want to get to this place where we understand that the nimbus, which I'm representing with the color clear or white, crystal quartz or selenite, are typically really good go-tos there. I know a lot of people like to say selenite is for charging. I would disagree with that, although it's a very popular narrative and people are probably really locked into that. Selenite is a really good, not charging stone, but a filtration stone, or crystal quartz is also a really good filtration stone, where we're taking something, we're putting it through there, and we're kind of filtering it. Similar to the base chakra, it's happening on both ends of the spectrum. The difference is vibration. And the lower you go down on the spectrum of your chakras or your energetic bodies, the denser it becomes. Dense energy, that's why we're representing extreme physicality with the root chakra, and why we're representing elevated consciousness with the pineal gland. And then we do have to take into account that we have this nimbus, which is basically a water fountain And that is really going to need a little bit of assistance in helping to get your thoughts, which turn into vibration and frequency, your actions, which turn into vibration and frequency, into the correct places. So correct effort, finishing what you start, not being lazy, seeing where you are lazy and pushing yourself in a direction where you remove laziness or push yourself out of your comfort zone. But then also it boils down to your decision making and the kinds of choices that you're making. If you're making decisions and choices from a place where there's no calculation, where you're just being reactive to your environment, emotionally reactive, physically reactive to something, it really takes you out of the spectrum of being able to make good choices and good decisions. Good choices and good decisions really happen during a time where we're able to step back and reflect and ask ourselves questions. Why did this happen? What can I learn from this? What is the desired outcome? How do I make sure that this doesn't happen again? How do I make sure this does happen again? And that's kind of my summary on it. I wanted to keep it as simple as possible. I hope that helps. I hope that was informative. It's again based off of experience that I've had over the last 20 years studying metaphysics, and I love you. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, or else nothing. The end.